there's a difference between a maid and a nanny. A maid is somebody who does the housekeeping, housework, cleaning, wiping windows, and everything that relates to
The
housework.
Yeah.
A nanny comes majorly to take care of the children. Before you go to interview the ladies, interview the bureau owner first. Try to find out if she does all those things that I've mentioned. Does she do the background check? Has she gone to the lady's home? Where does she get her maids from? What kind of medical checks do they do on their maids? How does she handle conflicts if something happens within the first month, because bureaus only give you a 1-month grace period, but I know agencies can go for as long as 3 months.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and another episode of the Wheat Podcast here. In case you are new, my name is Maggie and I'm your host at the Wheat Podcast. So in this episode, I'm very excited to have this discussion, a conversation that has gone on my channel for years and is always very heated. Nannies and house helps. How can we live with nannies? How can we coexist with nannies? How should we handle nannies and house helps in our household? This is the conversation we're going to have today with our very amazing guest that I have met. I have been following her and the things she shares about domestic workers and training your maids and nannies. Her name, I won't even introduce her. I would let her introduce herself and what she does so that we can get an understanding of where this conversation is going to be coming from. Yes, introduce yourself.
So hi, my name is Kate Karori and I am from Graceful Maids and Nannies, where we do training for maids on housekeeping, nannies on childcare. We also train employers on how to live well with their maids and nannies. And we also offer training to bureau and agency owners on industry best practices. Thank you, Maggie, for inviting me.
Welcome, Kate. You are as graceful as the business you do. Even in your voice, I want to be as graceful as you are.
Thank you.
But I love how you respond to nanny inquiries in groups. The WhatsApp group that I'm in is called Toddler Moms, and I like that you answer their dilemmas very professionally. And I was like, it's like I'm writing notes every time you're answering. And I was like, who is this? So when I wanted to discuss the do's and don'ts when engaging nannies and house helps, I was like, I know someone. Even if I don't know her, I know her. And it's been a pleasure knowing you the last 1 hour or 2. Yeah. And I'm very curious to know why. Like, it's very interesting to find someone who just trains nannies and house helps and maids and domestic workers and does it. You sound so passionate, by the way. Even in your messaging, you sound very passionate. And I'm curious to know why you do this. And just for clarity, guys, she's not a bureau owner. She is a trainer.
Yes.
She trains both employees and domestic workers in your home.
Yes.
Yeah. So why train? Like, why did you choose this path? Or this is interesting because I've not met someone like you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I always say, for me, it is a calling. It is something that I believe God created me with the ability to train maids and nannies and to actually see the challenges that they go through in people's homes, and also employers, the issues that employers go through with their maids and nannies, and the challenges that bureaus go through when they are sourcing maids and nannies for people's homes. It started a couple of years back, actually many years ago, when I I was really small, so I didn't know how it happened. But my sister was knocked down by a car when she was with her nanny. So
How old was she?
she was 5.
She was
She was she was a small
How
child.
old were you?
I was 2.
You were the baby.
Yes, I was the baby, and my mom always told me that I would always say, she was called Washuka, so I would always say, Washuka, hit by a car, dead,
Oh no.
at 2 years old. So it's something that I experienced because I was with her as well. And then
you were also
I was
there?
also there.
Oh.
Me, her, and the nanny. But you see, I don't know what distracted the nanny to a point that somebody lost her life. So that is when I was 2 years old. And then fast forward to when I was a teenager, I lost my dear mother. And now a lot of domestic management of the domestic home
So you
was
were the
left.
only girl.
Yes,
left.
I am the
Yes.
only girl. And now a lot of the home responsibilities were on my shoulders. So from a tender age, I learned how to hire, how to fire, how to orient, how to teach them the work when they've just come, how to talk to bureaus, and from a really young age, because I had so many people,
Yeah.
and now this small girl is the one who has been left with
The responsibility to take care of the home.
Exactly.
Ooh.
And then now, a while back, I attended a discipleship class. And during that class, we were told to reflect on our years back from 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and 20 to now. And then see if there's a trend or something that maybe God is trying to show you through your experiences. Because you are being taught about how God uses our experiences for his glory. So from that point is when I realized, as much as I was left with all the domestic work at home, God was using that probably to give birth to what I'm doing now.
Which is so beautiful.
Yes, so that is my story.
I'm really sorry for the loss of your
It's
sister
okay.
and your mom
Thank
as
you,
well,
thank
but I'm also very happy that something beautiful has come out of your
Exactly.
experience,
Yes.
which is a very rare niche, and that's why I'm so sure this video will help people, because if you operate from a point of calling and from your heart,
Yes.
the wisdom of God, everything just flows. Everything
does.
flows better, bigger.
Yes.
So I'm so sure there are people who will be very impacted by this conversation.
I hope
and
so.
I want to take it back to myself so that maybe someone can relate. I'm pregnant. And for now, everyone has told me, hey, you'll need help.
Yes.
Hey, you'll need help.
Yes.
And this is my first time to think, now I need to hire a nanny. Or someone to help. Of course, before I had like a day bag once a week.
Yeah.
And so now we are thinking you need someone more permanent, more like present in your home to help you, because raising a human being is a lot of work, coupled with taking care of your household. And as a new mom, I was clueless. And I am sure there are many new moms who are just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I should start, how I should start to do this. So we want to talk about, let's start with the hiring.
Okay.
How do I know I need to hire? And even when I'm hiring, what am I supposed to ask these people? I am I'm talking as that person who's hiring for the first time, because if I look back, as
You had a
clueless,
challenge.
I had a challenge. I
Yeah.
was just trying to adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question because it's something that we have all gone through, myself included, because I also got my child about 3 years ago. And lucky for me now, I had gotten a lot of experience in that area of getting maids and nannies for homes. So
Yeah.
I kind of knew what I was looking for. Now, the one main thing that I always tell my clients is you need to assess your needs first before you start looking for a maid or nanny. And because of that, we have a self-assessment guide on our website, which you can download for free.
I'll
And
put the website on the screen. She has a
Okay.
website that
Yes.
covers what you do.
Yes, it does. And it has a self-assessment guide. And that guide will have a couple of questions. There are actually, is it 59 questions?
59?
Yes.
Woo!
59 questions
Uh-huh.
that you need to answer for yourself. It's not for me to know what you answer. It's for you to know what you answer so that can guide you as you look for a house help who is fit for your home. Yes, and yes, that is normally the very first step. If you do not know your home needs, you will get anybody in your home and you guys will clash.
Yeah.
Because you did not communicate your expectations with that maid in the right
So
way.
what kind of questions will people meet in this assessment, just in general?
Okay, so like the first question is she coming to do housework, or is she coming to take care of a child, or is she coming to do both? And because I've mentioned that, let me also say that there's a difference between a maid and a nanny. A maid is somebody who does the housekeeping, housework, cleaning, wiping windows, and everything that relates to
The house.
housework.
Yeah.
A nanny comes majorly to take care of the children. Most homes have two. There is the one who does the cleaning of the house and the washing of clothes and then there's the other one who is just like a best friend to the child, who entertains the child, plays with the child, cooks for the child, feeds the child, But because of life, we end up hiring one to do both.
Yeah.
So it's good you communicate that to the lady that you want to interview. Find out if she wants a housekeeping job or she wants a nanny job, a taking care of
Or
children
if she's
job.
capable of both.
Or if she's capable of both. Because you can find that you'll bring in a housekeeper, a very good housekeeper, who is not good with your children. And you will feel bad. You will blame everybody. But you didn't communicate that with her. You didn't inquire from her if she wanted to come and do housework or nanny work. So that is normally one of the very first questions where you have to know, is this lady coming in as a maid or is she coming in as a nanny? Because those two things have got different requirements, different kinds of trainings for each of them. So you have to be very sure about the kind of person that you want to come to your home. That is normally one of the most important
Questions.
steps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think even looking back, the first nanny I had was a good nanny.
Yes.
Didn't like housework. The second one I had was very good with the house, but
Yes.
very pathetic with the baby. And she didn't really like. Now, if I assess, I can
Yes,
see.
you can see.
Yeah. Even. Okay, now I have one who's good with both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when someone is hiring, let's say, I think for the purpose of this video, we can talk about the one who's good with both. So
Yes.
that way we're able to touch on both sides.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
So I have done my assessment. I have come to the conclusion I need a nanny or a house help. I don't know what we call them for the purpose of the
We
video.
can say house help is okay.
Okay, house
Yes.
help. And she has come.
Yes.
What am I asking her?
Now-
Teach us to adult kids.
Before you ask, you have jumped a lot of steps.
Ooh. Okay.
Because you
Yeah.
first need to know, where are you looking for this house
Ooh,
help,
and that's
you
where
know?
we all.
Yes, and that is where a lot of us go wrong.
Yes.
There are very many places where you can source for a house help. I'll just mention a few and then, so one of the places is agencies and bureaus. And that's another misconception, or people do not understand. And I don't know, I think it's just how they operate them. Because a bureau is just a middleman between an employer and somebody looking for work. So they'll charge you a small fee for the kukutaftia, but then they don't do any training. They don't, they are just a middleman. They don't know this maid and they don't know you. So they are just connecting the maid and the person who is looking for a maid or nanny. An agency, on the other hand, is a place where they are meant to employ the maids. They are employed by the agency and the agency leases them to you. So, yes, I hope we have that clear.
I didn't know about agency.
Yes.
Wow.
An agency employs the maid.
Uh-huh.
The maid is under the employment of the agency, and then they lease them to employers who are
So
looking for
when
maids
the
and
employer
nannies.
is paying, they pay the agency?
Yes, when the employer is
Okay.
paying now, they constantly pay the salary to
The
the agency.
They
And
are
of
in
course,
Kenya?
there is. I know one.
Kwani ni kwa nchi gani?
They are there. So unfortunately, because agencies are expensive, you will find bureaus that call themselves agencies, but they don't operate
As agencies,
agencies.
yes.
But you still end up paying,
A lot of money.
yes, the price that you could have paid for an agency, because an agency will manage your house help for you. If you have issues, you don't even have to tell it to the house help. You just go to your agency and tell her, by the way, please come and solve this issue that I'm having at home with.
Okay.
And also an agency will come and supervise the nanny or the house help
For a period
randomly.
of time or even random.
You know,
Okay.
to make sure she's still wearing the uniform as we had agreed. She's still working as we had agreed. She still comes on time, you know, because she's the employer, she's the employee of the agency. But bureau will just give you upambane ni wako.
But they say they've trained them.
No, there are
Yeah.
very, very, very few places that train. And even when it comes to training, I can train my nanny in my home. But if I give her to Maggie,
My home is
her
different.
home is different.
Yeah.
So it might require some form of a
More
different
training.
kind of training.
Okay.
Yes.
I hear you. And then there is referrals, which a lot of women. I only want
Oh,
referral. Me, I
yes.
don't want a bureau.
Oh,
Me, I
yes.
just want a referral.
Yes.
Having worked with both,
Yes.
yeah, I'm not a referral fan per se. But you see, nannies, you never know. What do you
Yeah,
think
it's
about
true.
referrals?
Wow. Referrals. Referrals. Both of them have got their good side and their bad
Yeah.
side. When it comes to referrals, if the referral is coming from a bureau or an agency, that's fine. But if it is my nanny referring a friend of
Another,
hers or
yeah.
a sister or somebody that she knows to a friend who is looking, that is not a good referral. But
Why?
because you don't know her. Because your nanny works well, you can't expect her sister to be working as well
Yeah,
as.
yeah.
They are different people. And you don't know where the lady has come from. Umepewa number, shika number, piga simu, ongea na yeye.
You don't know her background.
You don't know anything at all about her, except what you have
You've
been told by
Oh, yeah.
whoever it is that has gotten the referral for you. Also, another issue is when you get a number, because I am in a couple of mom groups,
yeah.
and I see a lot of people saying, my house help, amefungua bureau, my house help is doing bureau work. If you guys need a nanny, she can hire. Okay. The one who is operating from a bureau is safer than just a random number that you're sent. Another place that I've seen people look for house helps is on Facebook. Which to me is like Craigslist. And you know what happens there? The kind of people who are there. I'm not saying that it's wrong to go to Facebook and get a house help, but you will do a lot of
You have to do
background
a lot of background
checks,
check.
a lot of them to be able to comfortably stay with this person, because you realize this is your home. This is the place where you come and become the real you. You remove your bra and you are comfortable. You know, your children are there. Your family is here. This is the person to cook for you, to make tea, to, you know, they are very close to you guys. When you bring them into your home, you have to be careful, because
you've got to be careful.
Yes.
I think also it's a misconception for people to assume that just because someone has been referred, they're good. And I think one of the greatest lessons is the article going round of, unfortunately, the house help who killed her employer. Because if I read the story, it's a referral.
Yes.
And now there are no ways to really trace back. And like what I've seen with bureaus and maybe agencies, that they have the background data of these people, of their parents, of... Yeah, I feel it's a misconception.
It's true, because the story that Mag is talking about, the lady was a referral.
Yeah.
And she was referred to her by somebody that she knew. So she came to her home and, and then again, you see, the reason that people take referrals is because they don't pay for them. It's free.
Yeah.
You're
We
giving
don't want
somebody
the
for
bureau
free.
hassle.
They don't
Yeah.
want to have to go and put
Yeah.
a commitment fee
Yeah.
to ensure that you're going to stay with this, with this household for a certain duration of time. You want for free, just give me whoever if you have heard of somebody, just give me their number, and you don't know the kind of person who's coming. So bureaus and agencies do some background check. At least they have contacts of their parents, sisters,
And hopefully
brothers.
that is a good bureau.
Yes,
Because
yes.
also there are very many rogue
They are
bureaus.
very, very, because
Yeah.
anybody can start a bureau. Not all
Yeah.
of them are registered.
Yeah.
They are just operating
Like
online
that. Yeah.
or, just ukisikia mtu anataka mpatie namba yangu nitamtafutia. Yes. So, they have contacts for the chief of that lady's home. They even have a map direction to that person's home, ancestral home, not the plot in Nairobi. No, they have a map direction to that person's home. So in case anything happens, there is a way to trace back. They even have the chief's contact of her home location. And now if you go back to that story, this lady was a referral. First, she didn't even come with an ID.
And different names.
Imagine. And after
Oh my God.
3
I just remembered the good nanny I
Yes,
had.
Yes.
Her name on the ID was
It's
different
different.
than the name
Imagine.
she gave me.
Imagine.
Oh my God. How did I miss that? And then,
Imagine.
they brush it off.
They do. They
It's
say
like they
also
say it's
my
a pet's name.
Mm.
I think even growing up, my mom has had incidences
Somebody
where a
like
nanny
that.
had a different name.
I know. The name on
now
the
if you
ID
think
is
about
different.
it's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that that lady is actually out there, probably in a new bureau,
Yeah.
looking to be placed somewhere. But the good thing is, if she's in a bureau, they will do some form of background check on her. A bureau would not have taken her without an ID.
Yes.
So you see,
Yes.
it would have saved something.
Yeah.
But now, because she's a referral, there was no need for ID. There's nobody asking for a background check. There's
Yeah.
nobody asking for
A reference letter.
at all. Nothing at all. But we're a chief. Nothing. So bureaus and agencies, I personally would prefer taking maids and nannies from bureaus or agencies, because I believe the people who operate bureaus well have that calling from God.
Yeah.
They have the calling.
Yeah.
And there is no person who will start a business so that the other one can fail, so that the other one can fall. And that's why I'm very, very open. If you are looking for a maid or nanny, I am not a bureau, but I would always refer you to somebody who does that kind of work, because we are all here to help each other.
Yeah.
To help each other prosper.
Tunapangana.
If
Maisha ni kupangana.
Kabisa.
I hear you, and what
Yes.
I'm hearing is source well.
Very well.
Source very well. And it's also not a guarantee that you'll get the good one at the bureau.
It's true. I always
Because they're
say,
human beings.
And like I was sharing earlier, I say that sometimes the stock, I'll call it stock, stock ya bureau inakujanga kama bill. You get camera and you get the not so camera ones, zile za kupeana.
Yeah.
So even when you get from a bureau, you also need to be sure about the kind of person that you want. From the needs assessment, you'll be able to know exactly what you're
you
looking
need.
for.
Okay.
Yeah. So before you engage, because you were talking about interview questions, before you get to the interview questions, there is that process of sourcing.
Yes, which is very important.
Yes. So maybe I'll mention a couple of more places that you can source. Colleges. There are some
Colleges?
people, yes, there are people who have cleared and don't have work, especially the ones who do the ECD.
Yeah.
They don't want to be employed in government schools.
Oh.
Yeah, so they would prefer to work as a nanny.
Oh, yes. I have ever gotten an application from someone from ECD, actually. Oh, okay.
Those ones are good because they are passionate about
children.
taking care of children. So they will take care of your child. But now when it comes to personality, that is where maybe you guys may clash. But they're a good place to search. And this is for bureaus and agencies because they are the ones who source maids and nannies for us. Because as we go straight to the bureau if we are looking. So if they sort them from good places, now like where I'm talking about, even churches, the church cleaners, they are church cleaners. You can also source them from the chief. The chief is, yes.
Because they know the people who are looking for
Yes,
such jobs.
exactly.
Oh.
Within that locality, the chief is able to know this person. And also when the lady comes to your home, she has some authority of, hey, siezi kosea chief, you know? Or if she does something bad, the chief will know. So she will be under some form of authority in your home, even while she's under your authority. She will still have a higher authority that she submits to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're done with the sourcing. I have sourced.
Yes.
Amekuja.
Amekuja.
Tunauliza na nini? What are these key things I should interview?
Okay, Sasa, before akuje, you have shared with her the kind of work that she's coming
description.
to do.
Yeah.
You have given her in detail because sometimes we go wrong when the only thing we ask is, si unajua kazi ya nyumba?
We assume.
You know? But every home is different. My home may not have a car, but Maggie's home may have a car. And when the lady comes, you think that she's coming to do housework. She also thinks she's coming to do housework. And then you start telling her, I need you to
clean the car,
wash the cars. I need you to be washing the seats out there. I don't know what they're called. You know, you start adding.
The garden.
Yes, in the garden. The gardener's work. Now you're also giving it to the housemaid or the house help. You know, so they feel like, I thought you said ni kazi ya nyumba too. Or I thought you said I'm only looking after your child. So these other added tasks that you're adding and we didn't agree on them, they discourage them a lot and they feel like, you are not sincere from the beginning. And so they struggle now to relate with you well because they feel like you will keep adding tasks day in, day out.
Maybe were not in the description
that were not
that
when
they
you
thought
looked for
about.
her when she agreed to come and do the interview. You hadn't mentioned the additional tasks that you're adding because you believe that you're paying her. Sinakulipa. You know?
Tusaidiane. Okay, yes, I hear.
So it's good to be very
specific,
especially when you do the needs assessment. It's very good to try and use the answers that you get from the needs assessment to formulate questions for the interview. You know, like if you want her to come and look after your child, you can ask her to tell you about an experience that she had while taking care of somebody else's child that she was not happy with, you know, so that you can try and assess her anger level, you know? Because you don't want somebody to just blow up on you and you have asked a very simple question and you asked because you wanted clarity, but then she's taking it like, do you think I don't know what I'm doing?
Yes.
What are you telling me? You know? Yeah. So from those questions, actually, that is the only thing that I give clients. When they answer those questions, they can use them repeatedly until now maybe the dynamics of their home changes from one child to maybe 3 children. So some things will change because some children are going to school. One is a newborn, you know? Yes. So use those questions to also formulate interview questions when you're now doing your interviews. And I always say it's best to don't ask yes and no questions. Ask a question that is descriptive, that she will
have to think and answer.
You. For example, I remember one time asking a nanny how she handled an emergency. Give me an example of a time that you handled an emergency in your previous employer's home. And you see, that's something she will have to think about, remember, and then now share with me. And then now, since I have spoken about emergency, I think I should mention the first aid training.
Okay. That is very important. I think I learned from experience that first aid is not something employer should be taking lightly or a waste of money.
No.
Because it can save a life.
Oh, yes.
Your person's life.
Yes.
Your child's life.
Yes.
And I learned it because of the one nanny that I had who had a choking incident with my child. And she kept lying that, no, there's nothing that has happened, but you could see the child is struggling to breathe.
Yes.
And I had to do it because personally, when I started weaning, I did first aid.
Okay.
Like I didn't go for training, but I watched the video on how to
Okay.
deal with choking because there's so much resource online.
Yes.
Yeah, and I see you talk about it a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about taking your maids and nannies for first aid training, especially. That if you don't train anything else, just train her on first aid because you're leaving your child with her and you want her to be able to do anything, to save any situation that can come up when you're not around. I was a first aid trainer as well for many years since I was young. So I have, like I said, God has been directing me
To
here.
do this same thing.
Yes, because
Yeah.
back then when I was a young girl, I was a trainer for first aid. I did first aid training, and I loved it. I really did love it, and that was many years ago. And see now, today I am the one talking about taking your maids and nannies
To
for
do
first aid
for first
training.
aid, yeah.
Yes, because it can save a life. I have very many stories of people who lost their loved ones.
I know parents who've lost their
Yes,
kids out
parents
of
who have
choking.
exactly, and it's something as little as choking, something
Yes.
that you could have paid a first aid company to train your maid on how to handle such a situation.
Yeah.
But because of, I don't know what, you decided not to. And the reason people don't is they don't like to empower their maids and nannies.
That's very true.
I
People
have-
say ataniacha
Ataniacha.
nika nishalipa first aid, ataniacha ka nishalipa training ya kupika.
But why not? If they
Yeah.
want to leave, you can't force them to stay. But they will leave having gained something that you have empowered them with.
Yes.
I'll give you a story about my dad. My dad is an amazing father and grandfather to my daughter. And while we were growing up, he never allowed a house help to leave the way that she came. So one of our house helps went to saloon work. She didn't go to saloon work, but she did saloon training and continued working at home. Another one did computer school, and now she's at FIDA. I don't know if she's still there. Another one we took for driving school.
Wow.
And now she's a nanny who drives. So there are quite a number of, or even one of our houseboys was also taken for driving because I don't know if my dad would just do it because he was taking us for it and he knew that these guys would never have the opportunity to go
To
through
do
that
it,
training.
yeah.
So for example, when I was being taken to driving school, our nannies tulienda pamoja.
Wow.
You know? Yes.
It's nice.
When my
Yeah.
brothers were also going for driving school,
Yeah.
the houseboys all went for driving school
Yeah.
because my dad believed he would never let you live the way
the
that
way
you
you
came.
came. And I think
Yes.
we miss the point there as employers because when just me, if I apply for a job, I hope that I will come out of it having gained a skill
Yes.
better than I went.
Yes.
But as employing nannies, the mindset of very many people is if I empower her, she will
She will
leave.
leave. That's
And
true.
we don't own them. She
No.
will leave
Eventually.
anyway. And I feel like challenged
Yes.
that it's good to empower your maids and nannies
Yes.
that they leave your place better than they found.
Better than they came.
Than they came in.
Yes.
Just
yes.
how you would want to go to any job.
Exactly.
Yes.
And because of experiencing that with my father, I also never allow my
Nanny.
own nannies to leave the way they came. So I know my nanny right now. I took her for first aid training and any other training that she would be interested in. I just told her, you just whatever you want.
And it
I
actually
will."
makes your life easier. Because I saw Murugi training her nanny on cooking.
Imagine.
And people are like, why would you spend this money? And I'm just like, but aren't you enjoying
Getting
the benefits
good
of
food.
yeah? I see Koi Kitchen on Instagram
Yes.
also doing nanny training for
Yes,
cooking, and I'm like,
yes.
wow.
And I am also koi, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I
Kate
am
Koi.
koi. Yes, I am a koi, but not a kitchen
Nice.
koi.
Yeah, so
But I
it's
know
really important.
I was so happy when I saw that. I was so happy when I saw Marugi doing that for her maids and her nannies, because as the employer, you actually enjoy good food.
Yeah.
I mean, whose house help can make cinnamon rolls? Imagine.
What is that?
I know.
What is that?
Yes, and you see, they will leave Morugi's home better than they came.
Yeah.
They will leave having known how to make cinnamon rolls. They can even go ahead and open a restaurant. I have another friend, I think she's a mentor because she's well advanced in age. And she took her house help for catering. So when we went for her birthday, she didn't have to hire a catering company to come and do the
wow.
party. She was like our caterer. Her house
Wow.
help is the one who did it. And you see, the lady has been there for 26 years.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just being good to your employer, and you as an employer being good to your maids and nannies? You guys end up living
Better.
so well.
Better.
The home has got so much harmony.
Yeah.
You have good food. You don't fear if your children do something or they get hurt, because your house help is well trained in first aid.
Yeah.
She's able to salvage situations before they become
Yeah.
bad.
She's able to cook for your guests.
Yes, she's
If
able
only
to.
we saw the bigger picture and
Yes.
stop owning.
No,
I know
we
I don't want
can't
her
own
to
them.
grow. And
But
even
why? Can you imagine the mentality of that employer who is saying, I don't want her to grow?
already it says a lot about you as an
Exactly,
employer.
yes.
Yeah. And I usually say on my Instagram page, not many people are really ready to admit just how bad they are as employers. Yeah. You could be a bad employer, but I hope that this video helps you to see inward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically what I'm hearing, even when you're hiring, you want to empower them when you've hired them.
Yes.
And also when you're hiring, you don't want to ask yes and no questions. But
Yes.
there are like very basic questions that you should not miss asking when you're hiring.
Okay. Now, you will find out. First, I already mentioned about
Then
maid or nanny.
IDs,
Uh-huh.
yes.
And
Or the
then
job
now,
description.
Yes, the
yeah.
job description. And then, of course, you need their ID. But you see, coming from a bureau, they have documents
Yes.
already. So if you're interviewing, now, let me get this straight. Are we interviewing a referral or somebody from a bureau?
I believe the two would need two different approaches.
I think so.
Yes. Take me through
Okay.
the one for a referral.
Now, for a referral, you
Yeah.
will definitely need an ID. And somebody who is not so good will hide her ID, or she will not be very open with
To
you.
giving the ID.
To giving you an ID.
And we ignore
Yeah,
those red
she will
flags.
ask you questions.
Yeah.
ID yangu kwa nini,
Eh.
funny things, and you just
Yeah.
want a copy of your ID. I just need a copy of
And
your
it's
ID.
the copy. There was also this discussion where employers are staying with the
Withholding,
ID.
yes.
It's the copy.
I've seen
Yeah.
some employer will withhold her ID. I don't know for what power games, because now the house help will feel obliged to do everything the
Yeah.
employer says, because I'm atakatana ID yangu,
Yeah.
which is not good
It's
at all,
not
at all.
healthy.
So the only thing you should ask for is a photocopy of the ID. You can also ask for reference letters from previous employers, though that is a bit tricky because they lie. They lie. They will lie to you about a previous employer when it is
Left
just
the country.
all of them actually leave the
The
country.
country left the country is everything. I had it.
Everything.
They were leaving the country.
Yes,
Yeah.
98% of them have left the country.
But if you insist, you might get someone who will give you
Yes.
the number.
But now you should also be careful, because it could be a wrong
A
number.
friend.
An auntie, a cousin.
That's the problem with referrals. How do you do the
Yes.
checks?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you see, a good bureau or an agency has ran all those tests beforehand. So you're just going to interview them based on your home needs, Anyway, now we continue. Another thing you can ask for is her background. If she has a good conduct certificate. Have you ever?
Nope. Never even thought about the good conduct.
Yes, a good conduct is good.
And I'm wondering why. Right now we have people killing their employers, you have people killing children. It's really important to do that background check for the good conduct. I'm wondering why it's something we never even
Thought
think about. Yeah.
Yes. And a good bureau will do background checks such as those for you. Some employers also ask for a medical check, and it's okay, provided that you have consent from the house help to do her medical check. And some bureaus will also do the medical check for you. So that one will be covered by the bureau. Actually, the best bureau is the one who gives you a ready product. Ready. Everything, all her details are here. If you need to talk to her chief, this is it. If you need to go to her home, this is where she's come from. That is a good bureau. Yes. So it's good to interview the bureau owner before you get to interview your maid or nanny.
I never did that with one of the nannies I hired. I didn't even think about it.
Yes,
oh my God.
To interview
I remember the conversation was, untaka wangapi? Wakutoka wapi?
Pesa ngapi?
Pesa ngapi na
Watoto
alitaka
wangapi? Bedroom ngapi? Tosha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to interview the bureau owner. Before you go to interview the ladies, interview the bureau owner first. Try to find out if she does all those things that I've mentioned. Does she do the background check? Has she gone to the ladies' home? Where does she get her maids from? What kind of medical checks do they do on their maids? How does she handle conflicts if something happens within the first month, because bureaus only give you a 1 month grace period, but I know agencies can go for as long as 3 months. Yes, within 3 months, if you feel this is not your right fit, she can replace. Yes, 3 months. Agencies give you 3 months.
Waiting 3 months, Kate. Do you have a kid for waiting 3 months?
You see, you can have one for 1.5 months, and that's when you see her true colors.
Okay.
But you see, if it was a bureau, you're paying for a new help. They will not replace that one because it's after 1 month.
Okay.
But for a bureau, for an agency, they will go up to 3 months.
Oh, okay.
So you see, it gives you more time
to study.
To keep replacing if there's an issue.
Okay.
But for a bureau, it's only one replacement within 1 month.
1 month.
1 month, the lady can pretend to be good.
Yeah.
We were having a discussion the other day with a friend of mine who visited, just about bureaus and the kind of ladies that you get from bureaus, and how they pretend you don't have enough time to see her true colors within a month. Within a month, she could be the best. But also, there are some bureaus that practice not very well because they send you the rejects.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they can send you the one who is always being returned to the bureau because ni kama old stock. Anataka iishe.
That's so bad.
There are people who do that. And that's what I'm saying. According to me, one of the biggest problems is the bureau. And that's why I believe some form of training for them, because anyone can open a bureau.
Yeah.
Anybody. Actually, so many people have opened bureaus.
Yes.
But they don't practice as they should. They don't source the girls where they should. They don't do the right background checks. They don't, you can be sent for just a
random
person
who was passing by.
Exactly. And asked, unataka kazi? Kuja nikupeleke mahali. And this is your home, your safe haven.
Yeah.
And you just decide to live with somebody you don't know,
and you think they are known.
They
are not known also.
Yes. But now, because the good thing is that because it's a bureau, they have some form of documentation on that lady. Now, the referrals will never have documentations on the ladies that you say, send me, I'm looking for a house help, send me a number. And many employers choose that route because it's free.
Not even because it's free. You have a misguided trust that this person
knows
her. I remember one of the first nannies I had.
Yes.
Now listening to this conversation, hata sijui nilikuwa na sosaji. It was through a friend. Her nanny knew her.
Yes.
Interview ilifanywa kwa simu on the phone. Uko na watoto wangapi? Unataka pesa ngapi? Uko ready kuanza lini? You see, I'm thinking I never even thought deeper about it, and it's dangerous.
It's
very dangerous. So it's just by the grace of God we lived well.
Amen.
But I can hear, I really am trying to unlearn phone interviews.
Yes.
The first time I went to also interview physically from a bureau, I did picky ponky. Literally, I was in a bad frame of mind. I'm like, now I'm supposed to interview all these girls seated here. I don't know what to ask them. I went to the paper. I don't also want to look like I don't know.
Yeah.
Then the first one had the name of my previous nanny. I was like, okay, X. I don't want to be reminded. The second one had a similar name, but the first letter was not there. I was like, not so bad. The third one, I was just like, no. So I was like, picky ponky. Seriously. It's such a misguided way of choosing nannies. And this someone you're going to live with. And of course, we didn't even gel. We didn't even end up
you will leave your prized possession, your child.
My child.
In her hand.
What did I do?
I know.
What did I do?
But it's okay. We
learn.
We are
learning.
We are learning as we live, as we, the challenges that you faced with your maids and nannies are good because they help you
to learn.
Yes.
To know next time
how
improve
to deal
on this.
with somebody similar and how to avoid somebody similar in the future.
Yes. So we've hired. We've asked the background check. We've done. We've asked based on our needs what we need.
Yes.
We are now living together. Let me tell you, as a new mom, I struggled. I struggled to know what are the boundaries in my home.
Yes.
How can I still enjoy my home with my spouse and with this third party who's coming to work for us? How can I enjoy it with my child without feeling like someone is in my space and they're also supposed to be there to help me? Is there any tip or advice you can give someone struggling with the same thing?
Okay. Probably just 2 tips. And the first one is good communication. The employer needs to know how to communicate with her maid or nanny very well. And now the challenge comes in, does the maid or nanny know how to communicate to the employer? Because and that's the reason we do training across board.
For both parties.
Yes, because we will train the employer. We will train the maid or nanny, and we'll also train the bureaus because they are the ones who source. So if we come and train a maid on good communication, and the employer also knows how to communicate well, there'll not be very many communication challenges. And also about setting boundaries, you just communicate those boundaries to them. Communicating and active listening. It's just a relationship,
what I'm hearing. Just communicate. It's a marriage.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's a lot about communication and respect. If you respect her, treat her like a human being, and she'll be able to also love you and respect you. Because I know there are some homes where the house help will be given a very torn mattress with blankets which are torn. Do you remember the high school blankets? And then when they get torn, they look like strings. She'll be given that and told to sleep in the kitchen. And
we
have
mean bosses out here. Go check my Instagram highlights. Mean bosses. You will see people are mean.
Yes, it's true.
People are mean. So what you're saying is communication of what is expected around the house,
the home,
and respect.
Yes, and respect. And sometimes we leave things for the nanny to do without demonstrating how we want them done. And like I said, my home and Maggie's home are different.
Yeah.
So how I would want her to cook in my home may not be the way Maggie likes her food. So Maggie will tell her, I need greens and ugali. And maybe in my home we used to eat cabbage and ugali. And the way we used to cook greens is not how Maggie likes them cooked. So when Maggie's house help does the greens cooking, Maggie is not content. But instead of getting angry, you can show it to her practically. This is how I like my greens made.
Yeah.
Instead of assuming huyu mtu hasikii. She doesn't listen to instructions.
Yeah.
I keep telling her to make my greens in this way, and So once you learn how to communicate with your maids and nannies, it's also good when you're delegating duties or tasks to them to show them exactly how you like it done. There's another thing that I've noticed about. I have warned my house help very many times, and she's not listening. Whenever it comes to warnings and such things, it's good to have a contract, a written contract between yourself and your maid
That
or
is
nanny.
something many homes
Don't
miss
do.
out on.
Yes.
A written agreement.
A written agreement, an employment contract for yourself and your nanny.
Yes.
And then in there, you can talk about warnings. What activities are going to warrant an immediate dismissal? Let her know if at all you
do
beat
this
my
and this.
child.
Yeah.
There is no discussion. You will leave
Dismissal.
immediately, But then there are things that will warrant a warning. Let her also know how many warnings will warrant a dismissal. You can't say that I keep warning her. How many times have you warned her? You have warned
And
her.
there are no repercussions.
And there are no
So how do you
repercussions,
expect change?
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't expect her to change because ataniambia tu nitaishia hapo. Yes, so you have to have a good contract, and then in the same contract you need to outline your house rules and make them clear to her. When you give her a contract, go through the contract with her. Make sure that she has understood
The contract.
Everything that you have written from the beginning to the end. Let her understand the amount of notice that she's going to be given before she's dismissed, or if it's her leaving, how much notice should she give the employer. I'm giving you a 1 month notice that I'll be leaving next month, so that within the month you can be looking for somebody else. Yes, so a contract is something very, very good, and I think I have jumped and I've gone into contract. I hope there was nothing between there.
No. I feel like you're right on track. I know you offer that service of writing
I
contracts
do.
for such engagements.
Yes.
Which is very important. I think I've worked with 2 nannies with a contract. Yeah.
So the contract is good because, one thing that I always ask my clients whenever they ask me to do a contract is to tell me at what time does her job end, because that's another issue.
Ooh, that's another issue.
They want the
Kazi
maid
ishi.
kabisa. They
Because
want
we
the
live
house
together.
help, to keep working till midnight because I'm paying you.
Yeah.
You know the attitude of mimi ndiye nakulipa,
you're eating my food.
and I'm housing you here. You will work until I say enough, which they never say.
Yeah, which it
They
never
never
ends. And
say.
housework never ends.
Doesn't.
Literally. I feel like as a mom, having stayed alone, like with the baby, like
Yes.
you're always cleaning.
You are always,
never
all
ends.
the time,
Yeah.
and tidying up
Yeah.
and putting things back to where they're meant to be. So
Yeah.
it never ends. So before I create a contract, I always ask my clients, at what time does her work day end? Or what activity does she do to symbolize that the work day has come to an end?
Yeah.
And if they don't give me that, then I'm not able to create the contract, because I need to know when does your house help
Go to-
retire,
retire for the
to
day.
rest, to go and sleep, to rest. Yeah, so those are the things that you need to be very careful about. Don't overwork them. Give them ample time to do what it is that they need to do. And then another thing is creating a schedule. A work schedule for your maid or nanny. It's not good for them to come and find a generic one in your home. It's always better to sit down with her strengths and her weaknesses. Come, write down a good schedule that you can use with your maid or nanny. Like, I want you to wake up at this time. I want you to do ABCD at this time. I want you to make that schedule with her. Don't let her come and use one that was made by a house help 10 years ago.
It might not work for her.
It might not.
Yes.
It might not work for her.
What we want is someone efficient.
Yes.
And that's what we miss out. We want efficiency and effectiveness.
Yes.
But now we believe our way is our way.
Yes.
If we are supposed to wake up by 5, kazi ishe by 8,
Kabisa.
nikienda job, ushamaliza.
Yeah.
And it may not work for
It
everyone.
might not.
Yeah.
It might not.
Yeah.
It's true, because sometimes, especially because they are doing both nanny work and housework, you can find that whatever may be done by 10 today, tomorrow it might be at 2.
Yeah.
So you have to also be flexible and allow her to, provided that she does everything that you want her to do.
At the end of the day.
Yes, at the end of the
these
day.
are the
everything,
deliverables. Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yes, so always create time for her to rest. Don't overwork your house helps, because that takes us back to the days of slavery. And I say, if I didn't have my house help, I wouldn't even be here with you, Maggie.
Yeah.
Even you, Maggie, you
Yes.
wouldn't be here. They are helping you.
Yeah.
They are not here to
Slave.
They are not here to be
Yes.
your slaves.
Yeah.
They are here to help you.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have your house help, you would not be going to work.
Yeah.
You would not be doing what you're meant to do. Ni kazi kwa nyumba
24 hours kulea, kuosha.
But you see, they're here to help us.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that it's a mindset problem, by the way.
Yes.
It's a mindset problem, and it will take a lot of educating for people to actually
unlearn.
shift their mindset from
Yes.
thinking that they are slaves. They are here because they need to be here,
Yes.
to them being here to help me.
Do you actually feel, and we were talking about this, there are people who are actually passionate about being the maid or the nanny?
Yes, but I remember we were talking about it, and we said that there are people, most of them are not in that position because they want to. But that doesn't mean that there are some who are house helps and nannies because they love being house helps and nannies. I know of one.
Who loves?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one I stayed with for 6 years.
Yeah.
She's been doing house help work since 1991.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
And she can't do anything else. She says that is
Her calling.
Yes, that is just the best. And she's the one that I stayed with for 6 years.
Yeah.
She loves housework. She loves it. Even taking care of children. But I think she has done more housework than she has the nanny bit. And she loves it. So she's one of the few who actually love it, which means there are more who love the housework. Just cleaning the house, cooking, doing dishes. Do you have your best house chore?
I'm lazy. At your best house.
Yes, for me it's doing dishes. I actually used to volunteer in Kikuyu to go do dishes. And you see, that's another thing that I did when I was young, up to 2019.
Is making my bed a house.
You like doing that? Then maybe bed making is your favorite.
Since I got a bed.
I saw it. It's so beautiful.
Making my bed. I love making the bed.
I saw it. Yeah, so there are those kind of...
Yeah.
Like for me, I love doing dishes. I always say, if you gave me all the dishes in this estate,
Wow.
me, I will do them.
So I definitely don't believe there are people who love their jobs.
There are.
Even if many people despise the job.
Yes.
And I think it's a matter of mind shift.
Yes.
Mind and learning so many
lot
things
of
that
things.
were taught to us or we saw
Yeah.
people doing. Because I hated the fact that I had to say my nanny has gone on leave because her dad died and someone told me, are you sure? Is she from Western? You should really investigate into this. Even my nanny told me and never came back. Even my colleague's nanny told me the same. They are doing these things. We tend to, this is the one job group that we tend to bundle up everyone. If a nanny did this bad, all nannies are bad.
Yes.
And that brings me to this discussion that I've had before.
Yes.
Medical checks.
Okay.
I know there are jobs that require... And the employers who actually would like a medical check. But I've had this discussion with people on my platform. Must you force your nanny to do a HIV test? And even when you find out, so she's HIV, what next?
Yes.
What next? Because I am of a very strong opinion that it is simply discrimination if you're fired based on that and you were okay to do the job. If you are so sick to do the job, that's a different discussion.
I agree.
But if I stay triggered with this topic, Kate, tell us, what is your opinion of one, employers who require a HIV test before, and two, those who check for ARVs
in people's bags. I know, privacy.
Yes, privacy. Lack of privacy. Yes.
Well, about HIV and medical checks, I personally have never done that, but I have clients who require the house help to have had a medical check done. And because for some people it's hard to request her house help to go and be tested. So, okay, I was going to say something else, but yes, it's hard for an employer to ask the maid to go and be tested, or the nanny. So sometimes they use the bureau to test them before they give them the house help. But again, many people do not believe the tests from the bureaus, so they still insist on taking them themselves to maybe a doctor that they know. And it's a very sensitive topic, because you know about the discrimination, the act on not discriminating against people with HIV.
Yes, Employment Act says you shouldn't discriminate.
Yes, even the HIV Control Act.
Yes.
It also says that you shouldn't discriminate against them.
Yeah.
So hiring on the basis of are you positive or not is not good. Because I ask, if you as an employer are positive, will you be disclosing that information to every maid or nanny that you are asking to come to your home, that you're positive? Are you willing to work in a home where an employer is positive? You know, are you willing to share that information with them? So why is it that we disregard that and keep asking them to test before they come to your home? You know, sometimes it's not good. It's not good. It's really painful and sad. Because if the lady is not sick, that she cannot work, then why not? But if she's too sick, and you can see that she's too sick, then you can dismiss her very well, even probably compensate her for the days that now she will not be working because she has to go away.
We just it's taken me back to there's a nanny my sister had, and I remember she took care of my niece for a while, and then she went to get married. Then the marriage didn't work, then she came back. But now when she came back, she was really sick, coughing and everything. And so upon being asked, like, is everything okay, is when she said, she disclosed that she had contracted HIV, but she's on medication. Now in our culture, it's not such a big deal. If someone is taking their meds and able to work fine. Then she was so sick. My sister said, I'm going to release you, at least you get medical checkup, then you can come back, like you get better. Then unfortunately she died. But she was so good. Even our family used to love her. She was really good. And that's why I really hate it when people are just discriminating based on that.
Just that little.
And I know bad news travels faster. Wildfire. This nanny breastfed a nanny baby, so all of them.
Yes, all of them.
Bad news just travels faster in this industry. I feel people should really be considerate. Why treat the whole industry with that? Yes, be cautious, but why treat all of them just because of that one bad story? I mean, so a nanny has killed an employer, so now all nannies are capable of killing murderers. I don't know why we do that. I really, really hate it. And I think, just to add on what you said, if you find out your nanny is positive, is there a way to support them, or is it none of my business?
Now, how did you find out?
Oh, that is the question. I feel like that is the question. Yeah. That's a very important question, because from the stories, people either find out through snooping around, checking their bags for ARV drugs, or
testing them without their consent.
Those are the major ways I have known.
So you see how you found out wasn't good.
Yeah. So it's none of your business.
it is now your business.
It's now your business.
Because you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's now the issue of privacy. I have had a lot, and Some of you will find out through
Snooping.
yes, snooping, or when you send, sometimes you will send them intentionally to the shop so that you can have some time to
Snoop.
around their bedroom. And there are employers who will throw out all their things and leave them there so that when they come back,
Ujue niliangalia.
ujue niliangalia,
Yeah.
nilipitia vitu zako. Ukiwahi niibia,
Yeah, I do
nitajua, I
this. Like, it's a proud thing. It's not even something to be proud
Yes,
of. Gosh.
it's true. So they do that, and I've had a client who had gotten a new house help, and through the husband snooping, can you imagine?
Oh, we've trained our boys.
Yes,
That one must have just grown up seeing it.
yes.
Because it has been normalized.
So he snooped, and he was like, by the way, I found this dawas in her bag, you know? And they had to send her away immediately because they found the ARV medicine.
And we say, oh, I have a newborn, I can't risk.
Whether newborn
I think
or
we have
not,
even forgotten how HIV is transmitted.
we have lost our humanness.
Yes.
We don't love like we should love people, you know?
Yeah.
Because I know house helps are human beings just like us. But then you find that we want to treat them like lesser human beings. Because I wouldn't treat Maggie badly because she's my friend. And then I go and treat my house help like trash, you know? Talk to her very badly, demand things from her like those tests. Just because I can, I'm the one paying you. And I'll not have somebody like that in my home. It's not good. But there are people who do that. And then you see, they have like a multi-personality. Because with you, I'm so good. And when I go home, my house help is like, whoa. And that thing, I learned about it when I was doing the discipleship class I mentioned. We were told to find 3 or 4 people. It was a homework we were given. Find 3 or 4 people to say 5 things about you. And everybody went and found 5 people to say 5 things, good and bad, about you. And when we went back to class the next week, we were asked to share who and what they said about you. And before it was my turn to share, the trainer was like, let me tell you, if you want to know a good person, ni yule alienda kwa house help. Akamwambia, write for me the 5 things.
Oh.
Because those are the guys who see our true colors.
They live with us.
They know what angers us. They know how we behave when we are angry. You know, they know it all with us.
Yeah.
So she was like, the person who I will know is a good person is the one who went to the house help and asked. Yes. Yeah. So by the grace of God, I was the next one. And lo and behold, my 5 points came from my house help.
Oh, wow.
I know. And it shocked everybody because how can your house help think of you so highly, or how can your house help love you so much? But that is it. That is the person who I live with every single day. She knows my good and my bad. And it's not to say that we have been perfect with my house help from day one.
Like you said, you had a rough start.
We had a rough start.
Yeah.
But we are where we are now.
Communication and respect.
A lot of respect.
Yes.
And communication. You can't be talking to your house help. Your house help cannot be talking to you while you're busy on your phone. You see? Shows her that you don't have time for her. And then when she doesn't get
when she does the same,
you're not happy.
Yeah.
Or when she doesn't get certain instructions well, you are so angry, so bitter, you're quarreling, you're almost fighting, you know? Yet, you didn't accord her the same respect that you would want her to accord you. Because you didn't explain to her what you wanted, or you didn't even listen to whatever complaint it is that she was bringing to you.
I feel like a lot of this relationship can get better if we look inward first.
It's true.
Before we set the expectation even. It's very challenging to look inward and say, Hapa, I didn't do well. I have a problem here. And that's something for me I've done through my journeys, like looking at my nannies. Where would I have gone wrong? Communication especially. Where you have expectations you've not said and then you get mad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is
there what is your take on taking leave?
Okay. Leave is good. It is Actually, it is mandatory. I had a house help who never used to go for her off day out of choice. She's like, no, Mama Grace, I don't want to go. Ntaka na nyinyi, you know? And after a few months, they blow up because they need that time.
They need the break.
That time away from work to just be with their people or just to be with her own thoughts away from home. Even though you give her an off and she just goes outside the gate to some field and just sits there. You know,
it's good. It's me time.
Yes, it's good, and she will come back and give you a good service. So I always advocate for one day in a week. At least let them have that day to themselves, and then let them go and do what they need to do, and they'll come back when you agree on their. That takes me back to the contract. It's good to also indicate
leave
and off.
Yes.
If you're giving her an off day on Sunday, let it be in writing form that every Sunday she's free to go and to come back at whatever time you both agree on and to continue her work. And when it comes to leave, it's also good to give them that break. Even though it's 1 week, you know.
So should we force the ones who don't want to go?
Yes, you should. Yes. Yes, because I learned the hard way. My first nanny, when I had my daughter, you know, we had been used to getting nannies from Ushago, so they don't have anywhere to go. But these ones who have people here in Nairobi, let them go and visit them. Let them go have lunch with their people and they'll come back. So if your house help refuses to go for her off day, just let it be known that she has to go. You're not chasing her away. And it's for her good. Because she will come back in a better
They come back
headspace.
refreshed.
Yes, they do.
For sure. Yeah.
Now, about leave, it's also good to give them leave. And I always say, because they are also parents, they have children at home. So try and give them leave when it's a holiday. You know, when the children are on holiday, so that they can go home and
be with their families.
Yeah, be with their children.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's always good to let them go for leave. So that is April holiday, August, and then the December leave. Yeah.
It should be just clear in writing.
Yes,
basically.
in writing, so that nobody is going to say, I never used to get leaves, I never used to, you know.
Ama jarudi, mekula fair. Anyway, I wanted to wind up. So there's the issue of terminating. Now I don't want to work with this person.
Yes.
I learned as a general rule, do not terminate at night. I once terminated at night. And in the morning it was a bit weird.
Okay.
But then when I shared and people were like, never terminate at night, never, like the risk involved.
Yeah.
What do you feel about terminating? Like how best can one go through it, being an industry where sometimes summary dismissal is the best way?
Okay.
Because of one or two things.
Yes, especially in homes.
Yes, because it's your home.
Yes. Now, when you talk of terminations, in the contracts that we do for employment, that is the last clause. We talk about termination. So if she wishes to leave, maybe you would want a notice period of maybe 2 weeks. Or if it's you who wants to terminate her, also give her probably 2 weeks notice. But because it's home, it can be a bit dangerous because you have seen what happens when they are terminated and they don't want to leave. They will mess your food. They will, you know? Yeah. So I agree that sometimes the very fast termination is good. And it is needed in some cases. And but you see, if you communicated well with your house help, if you are in good terms with your house help from when she started working there, you can give her 2 weeks notice to leave. Agree, sit down, discuss the terms, tell her this is why you're terminating her because of A, B, C, and D. And agree with her that you will compensate her, even though, you know, do you pay your severance pay to your house helps?
No. The one that where you've terminated without notice, then
there's
you need
that
to
one,
pay.
yes.
Yeah, I know that.
There's that one, and there's also the severance pay, which is for the years of service that she has given you. It's just a benefit.
Wow.
Yes.
It is there?
Yes. It's there.
Wow.
It's there, and it's just Asante, you know,
Yeah.
you just tell her thank you. So it's normally calculated half a month's salary per year of service. So if she has been with you for 3 years, on top of her salary, the last salary that you're paying her, you also give her those kinds of benefits. You tell her, this is your severance pay because we've been with you for 3 years. So I'm assuming maybe she was getting 10,000. So for 3 years, that will be 15 on top of her 10,000 salary. So you give her 25,000 and you tell her, tumemalizana
Oh,
vizuri.
I've learned something.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I've never heard of that
Of
one.
severance
Yeah,
pay?
I've never
Yes.
heard about it.
Yes.
So I just wanted to look at some of the dilemmas that people shared.
Okay.
You can give like a word or two on what you think this issue how you think the issue can be solved.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
So I had asked a couple of people what their dilemmas were, like how do they deal with some of the nanny dilemmas they've had. So how do I deal? Okay, I can already see the solutions from the discussion. How do I deal with a nanny who does not like small kids? Should you have hired them?
That's
Is
the question. Why did you hire her to take care of a small child?
I
when
think that
she
one
didn't
we
want-
know.
Yes, now you
need
know.
to terminate.
Yes, you can't keep her there. If she
Yeah.
doesn't want to handle small children,
Yes.
then she will not meet your expectations.
Yes.
Because you need her to take care of that small child, but because she does
not
want to,
like it, you
then
can't even force
you
it.
can't force her.
Yeah.
And when you force them, you are disappointed. You will be disappointed because they will refuse to change the nappy. They
The
will
child will
refuse to
suffer.
feed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it will just be chaotic. So terminate.
A common problem. How do I handle a nanny who eats a lot? A lot.
That's
Many
not
zeros.
a very big problem.
It is a common problem that people say, oh, I have tried.
I know.
She is not considerate of other people in the home. How do I deal with
I
this?
used to be like that.
What do you mean?
I did. I used to ask my dad because I told you I've managed domestic workers for 16 years.
Yeah.
For 16 years. So I struggled with a house help who eats a lot. And when I raised the concern with my dad, he told me that it's okay. They do that because where they come from, they survive on one meal. So they know when they get this one meal here, they might not get another one. So they end up eating for tomorrow and the next day, a lot of food. But how my dad told me to deal with it is just let them, because they believe it will end. But the longer she stays with you and realizes that the food is actually not going, it's not going anywhere,
Yeah.
they will now watarudi chini and they will feed well.
So we let them be?
You
Na
have to.
budget, na economy.
Economy, God is our source.
Kiki.
It's true, God is our source.
And another common one is how to deal with a nanny who spoils things in the home, which are very costly, or breaks things, spoils stuff. Yeah.
I have heard about that. And the problem with us employers is we bring in very harsh measures for breaking things, to a point that the lady would prefer to run away and leave you with your
things.
people than to continue working for you.
Yeah.
Because I know somebody who, if the house help breaks one plate, her salary is cut down by the price of the whole set, If the set costed 10,000 and you've broken just one plate, her employer will minus 10,000. I mean, the price of the set of that dish that was broken. So those kind of
Measures
are not good, because even you break plates by mistake. You don't do them wanting to. You do it by mistake. So I think some things like maybe washing the TV with water, that is a matter of training. You can teach her, this is how we wipe our TV. We don't pour a bucket of water on it. We just wipe it with this kind of cloths, and just training. Teach her how to handle things with care in your home. And also teach her never to hide once things have been broken. She had better come and tell you, Mama Rani, unfortunately, when I was washing this plate, ilivunjika. Normally what they'll do, they will hide it. Wataenda kutupa kwa
Or blame
dustbin ya
the
nje.
kids. Or blame the kids.
Yes, or blame the children. They'll go and throw it in the dustbin outside so that you will never
You don't know.
So you have your guests and you're removing
You're
your
looking
hot
for
pot.
your favorite.
It's not there.
Yeah.
You know, so I always say it's better to communicate. Tell her, unfortunately, when I was doing this and that broke. And yes, and then you tell her next time you be careful because, these things are not very cheap. Yeah, so be careful next time. You know, when you show her that you understand she's a human being who can actually break a cup by mistake. She didn't take it and decide to drop it on the floor. It just fell off by mistake.
And there are those who are clumsy naturally.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Now those ones, the clumsy ones, you just have to
pick a struggle. I don't know.
No, not even. I don't think they'll be clumsy all the time.
Okay.
They won't break they will not ensure they have finished the whole set. They'll break maybe 2, but just keep telling them, please be careful next time. And again, these are things. I am a very, very minimalist person. I don't value things at all.
Yeah, but there are people who do.
There are people who value. So for me, I'm not attached to things at all. So it's easier for me to let it slide, you know. But I understand that there are people who are attached to their things, and the best way you can go about it is just communicate and tell them, be careful next time.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe if it's so important to you, you can include it in the contract as a warning.
Yeah.
Something for warning. If I give you 3 warnings, you are gone.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One who's always on the phone. This is always it's a recurring issue.
Yeah, that one is common. It's a very common issue of always being on the phone. You can also have that in your
contract
rules. Yes, the house rules. Maybe just let her know, because I know even in Saudi they are not allowed to use their phones all the time.
There's a phone time.
Yes, there's a phone time when you're resting. Maybe the 1 hour rest in the day, you can allow her to use her phone at that time, but not all the time, everywhere. She's just on phone.
You have to restrict. It's just like normal work. You won't be on your phone
the whole time. TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Yeah. No, there is a time allocated for her to do her social media and her, her phone usage. Yes, so create those kind of boundaries with her. Let her learn that this is not the time to use the phone. Utakuwa na wakati at whatever time it is that you have given her, and also have that in your contract under the rules about the phone use. Yeah.
Okay. There's one wants to look extra fashionable.
Is it
thin line?
Is it the house help or the employer who
the
wants?
nanny.
It's the nanny
extra
who
fashionable,
wants.
like mini skirts, nose ring, everything.
There is a very, very easy solution to that, is uniform.
Okay.
Yes. Just get her a good uniform. And tell her, while you work, this is what you'll be wearing.
Yeah, after work you
can wear. After work now. And after work is in her room, because she's not coming back outside. And that's why I said it's good to either have a time that her work ends, or an activity that signifies the end of her work day. So after that, she can wear her skimpy night dress. I think it will be a night dress now.
Okay. I'll read the last 2. Okay. Is with the people who've stayed with their nannies for a while and they feel like tumeanza kuzoeana. How do I stop this?
Boundaries. And it is kuzoeana. What is it? That there's no respect anymore.
Yes.
That's
like
the problem.
Now I'm giving instructions
and
you
she's
will
not
take.
doing it. No. That is respect and boundaries. You can be friends with your nanny. You can be. And I know you have shared a story about on your YouTube about treating your house help like a sister, and then she turned and became very bad.
Tulipangana.
Jipange.
Niani mama.
Yes, so it's about boundaries and respect. She should respect you as her employer, and you should also respect her as your maid or nanny. And you should have very clear
boundaries.
Yes, saying this, usipite hapa. Beyond this, you have gone too far.
Okay.
You know?
So boundaries
Yes,
being crossed,
boundaries,
which is so
boundaries,
easy when you start
boundaries.
become overly friendly without the boundary.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you can always you can always have a very professional, friendly relationship with your nanny, because this is not your enemy. You live with her. You can't live with her and not talk to her, because she's a human being, a social being.
So if you didn't set these boundaries early, how do you deal with it now?
Ooh, it's normally hard.
Yeah.
It's normally very hard to start creating boundaries where
You
people
didn't.
have already crossed. Yani, there were no boundaries before, so it's hard to put a wall. It's hard, but it's not impossible. You just need to start now.
Yeah.
Start now and let her know.
Have a meeting.
Yes, sit down, discuss with her and let her know, I'm not happy when you talk about my private life out there. I think my private life is mine. I don't expect you to go outside and tell people how me and my husband keep fighting every day. You know? Yes, so start creating that boundary, and let them know that your life is your life. But that's another issue. I have seen employers who refuse their house helps to talk to other house helps outside.
How can you
Not
even
possible.
control it?
You
How
can't.
can you even control it? I
You
don't
can't.
get.
It's not possible,
Yeah.
because they are social beings.
People are people.
Yes, they
People
are.
then do what they want.
Even when you go to work, you talk to people.
Yeah, you talk to people. You talk to your colleagues.
Yes. And even in an estate, assuming there are 20 houses and there are 20 house helps, all those house helps meet to talk. And you know what I do for that?
Yeah.
I decided to be doing training at that time when they meet to,
Oh,
to
nice.
discuss, you know? Yeah, so I say, because I know now my nanny tells me that they are free from around 11 to 3. So I was like, that's a good time to
do
train
the
them.
training.
Yeah, instead of them sitting around and gossiping about
Yeah, so
employers, let them sit around learning how to be good maids and nannies instead of letting them go and discuss people. Because another thing is employers who are insecure will be scared of their nannies going
Talking to
outside to
other
talk.
people.
Yes, because maybe you're paying your nanny 4,000, and you know if she goes outside and talks to other maids and nannies, she will know they're being paid 8. So you will tell her, if I see you outside talking to people, you will leave.
Yeah,
you know,
insecurity.
because she's insecure. She doesn't want the maid to know that people are actually being paid 8,000.
Yeah.
So it's again, like you have said, we need to
look inward
at ourselves.
Look inward. I don't want to go to other dilemmas just because of time, but I feel like we won't even finish. Maybe we'll do a live session on Instagram,
no
just to even answer more of the dilemmas. But I feel like this conversation has been very educational. That word. Yeah, I've learned a lot. Learned a lot. Also, I feel now I was fresh and hiring, I'd know what I need to do before.
I hope
the
so.
kind of background I need to do, kind of rules I need to set, especially on communication and respect, and how to coexist. It's not a gray area now because you've talked about it. So I look forward to hosting you again, even if it's on IG, just to have an in-depth discussion on this. If you enjoyed this conversation, let me know. Is there anything you feel like we've missed out? You see why you need the IG live in case of anything, because there's so much I've learned from her the last 1 hour or even more that I feel we can't even finish within this hour.
Everything we have talked about is a topic on its own.
Yes, it's a whole broad topic.
Yes, for example, sourcing.
Yes.
Sourcing.
Yeah.
How to determine if this is the right source.
Yes,
you know,
it's
a whole topic on its own.
Yeah.
Selecting is also a topic on its own.
Living together is a topic.
Yes, actually living together has so many topics. Because you need to know how to give feedback.
Yeah, you need to know all those things.
Address concerns.
Which is why I think I'll invite you for a live discussion where we can just have a topic or in-depth. Yeah. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. It was nice to have you over. So much, please check out Graceful Maids and Nannies. Yes. The Graceful, it's graceful.co.ke. Yes. Her website has a lot of resources on how you can coexist with your domestic worker. Check the self-assessment form. I think I'll put a link in my description. And hit her up if you want to train your nanny and to be trained as an employer. I think this has been an amazing discussion. I've learned so much. I hope someone else has learned at least the basic of where to start and the basics of living together. I'll definitely invite you for an Instagram live discussion or we can have these conversations because I feel we are failing this industry just by guessing. A lot of guess, a lack of knowledge, and we can gain from this. Please be sure to check graceful.co.ke. A lot of resources on how to relate with your domestic workers. Download the assessment form. I'm also going to download it just to see where I am, if I'm on track. Call Kate to train your nanny or your maid. Is it only nannies and maids or also domestic workers in general that you train?
For now, I'm only dealing with domestic workers. That is just the maids, the nannies, the ones who live inside the home.
Oh, inside the home. Okay. Call her to train you as the employer. I think I need some training as well. I feel like no one is immune. Like everyone needs this knowledge. Everyone really needs this knowledge because we're dealing with our homes and it's common than we think. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you again. If you enjoyed this conversation, leave a comment in the comment section. Check out the description box for all the links that you need about the graceful.co.ke. And you can also reach out to you on Instagram.
Yes, on Instagram, we are Graceful Maids Nannies.
Graceful Maids Nannies.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kate, for coming to share this. And thank you for your time and your patience. And also thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.